Welcome back to my channel. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for watching. It's been crazy in these YouTube streets, and but wait, did you guys subscribe? Please subscribe down below, and don't forget to like this video. Anyway, y'all, it's been crazy in these streets, like YouTube. What's going on? So today we're going to be talking about the people that were in Netflix's Dahmer. We're going to be talking about where they came from and where they are at now. So I just want to say that all of this information I got off the internet, just like you guys can get off the internet. I watched videos, I looked up articles, and I tried my best to find all accurate information. Okay, I tried my best to find it. I made sure that I got sources that said the same thing from multiple articles, multiple videos. So I tried my best to get all the correct information. If everything's not 100% correct, I'm sorry, but I tried my best. Now, so let's jump into the video. I tried to talk about people in a way that's easy to go with the flow. So first we're going to talk about David Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer's little brother. David Dahmer wasn't in the show too much. After Jeffrey's mom left Jeffrey, she took David with her, and they didn't have much of a relationship together. And David never liked talking about his brother, so we don't really know what's going on with him. We do know that now he is married, he has 2 kids, and he likes to live a private life. So he's not in the spotlight at all, and he doesn't want anyone to know who he is.
Jeff also had a brother, did he not?
Yes.
And he did change his name, is that
Yes, he did change.
What is he
his name.
doing?
Well, we've promised to keep him completely secret.
He has
with
a
respect.
career
No, that's right.
and a
I
family.
don't know if he's
Exactly.
specific, but is he happy? Is
He's
he...
very
Oh,
happy.
he's happy.
We're expecting a second grandchild. Everything's going well.
Oh, so that part of his life he has put aside. Were they
Yes.
close, the brothers?
7 years difference. So
Who was older?
Jeff was older. So yes, they enjoyed themselves as brothers, but there was always that 7-year difference in interests. So they weren't as close as someone maybe that was 1 or 2 years different.
So next we're going to talk about Lionel Dahmer. Lionel Dahmer was Jeffrey Dahmer's father. He was born in Wisconsin in 1936. He was a chemist, and he had 2 sons, which was David and Jeffrey. And he always tried to get Jeffrey on the straight and narrow. He loved his son very much, and he believed that he was just mentally ill. He thought he had passed down his dark thoughts from himself to Jeffrey, so he blamed himself a lot for Jeffrey's actions. Lionel tried to get Jeffrey a lot of help. Lionel even wrote a letter to a judge in 1990 begging for some type of help with Jeffrey or intervention before he was released. Lionel wrote, "I have reservations regarding Jeff's chances when he hits the streets. I have experienced an extremely frustrating time trying to urge initiation of some type of treatment. I sincerely hope that you might intervene in some way to help my son, who I love very much, and for whom I want a better life. I do feel, though, that this may be our last chance to initiate something lasting and that you can hold the key." Lionel is still alive, and he's 86 right now, and he is still married to Sherry. Despite making several appearances on television shows and interviews, Lionel lives a private life and is away from the public eye. Now let's talk about Catherine Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer's grandmother. Catherine Dahmer lived in the suburbs of Wisconsin called the West Allis. It was on 2357 South 57th Street. The house is still standing today, and Jeffrey lived with her for 9 years. Catherine was unaware of the that were going on in her house, and she had absolutely no idea what Jeffrey was doing. Unfortunately, Catherine passed away at the age of 88 on Christmas Day in 1992. This was 2 years before Jeffrey Dahmer died, but we don't know her cause of death. Now let's talk about Jeffrey's victims. So first is Tracy Edwards. Tracy was the person that escaped Jeffrey's apartment and led the police back to him for him to get arrested. After this, Tracy was seen as a hero. He had testified in Jeffrey's trial. After everything was over, Tracy ended up having a hard life. He became homeless since 2002 and was moving from shelter to shelter. Since then, he had multiple arrests for property damage, theft, failure to pay child support, and a host of similar crimes. So in 2011, Tracy and another homeless man ended up getting into a verbal altercation with a different man. Somehow this man ended up falling off a bridge and drowning. Or was he thrown? We don't know. Either way, prosecutors ended up charging him with homicide, and Tracy later on took a plea deal and pleaded to aiding a felon, and he was sentenced to 1.5 years.
Tracy Edwards and another man, Timothy Carr, are charged with recklessly endangering safety. Edwards' attorney asked that his client not have to appear in intake court today to avoid being shown on camera, but the court denied that request. A witness told police on Tuesday night Edwards and Carr threw a third man into the river in downtown Milwaukee. That man, named Johnny Jordan, drowned. During the short court proceeding today, Edwards listened to the charge against him and spoke only to tell the judge he understood what was happening.
Another one of Jeffrey's surviving victims is Somsak Synthesophone. Somsak is Conorak's brother, and they were both brought up in the U.S. by a devoted, loving family, and their family was from Laos. At the age of 13, Somsak agreed to take some pictures for Jeffrey Dahmer in exchange for some money, but Jeffrey Dahmer manipulated him, and he ended up hurting him and him. Listen guys, I can't say some of these words on YouTube because it goes against their rules, so I'm gonna try to put something in the video so you can see what I'm trying to say, so I won't have to, So Somsak ended up stumbling home, and when he got home, his parents were like, what the heck is going on? They were so concerned, so they went and got him help, and then the cops came and arrested Jeffrey, and he was charged with second-degree. And then he was sentenced to 1 year at work release camp. Yeah. After the murder of his brother, Somsak did sue the city of Milwaukee for not upholding their constitutional rights. Somsak did get married, and he is still living in Wisconsin. This is all that's known about him because he wants to live a private life. So let's jump into Jeffrey's next surviving victim, which is Ron Flowers. Ron Flowers was from Lake County, Illinois. He was a college graduate, and he had a position as a counselor for the Lake County Division. He has only given one interview about his experience in the documentary Jeffrey Dahmer, Mind of a Monster. He has remained out of the public view, and I believe he's either in his late 40s or early 50s. So let's talk about the officers, John Balzarak and Joseph Gabrish. John had been a police officer for 6 years. I'm not for sure how long Joseph had been a police officer for, but these were the police officers that brought the 14-year-old Conorak back to Jeffrey's apartment after finding him in the street. If you guys hear noise in the background, I'm so sorry. That's my neighbor doing whatever he's doing in his backyard while I'm trying to film this video. So, sorry about that. In 1991, both of the officers were fired for gross negligence, but then in 1994, a judge reinstated them, and they also got a back pay of $55,000 each. John retired in 2017 at the age of 60. He still lives in Milwaukee, and he owns a pub out there. Now, Joseph left the Milwaukee force. He was named an interim police chief in the Grafton Police Department, where he served as a captain. Now let's talk about the neighbor Glenda Cleveland / Pamela Bass. Now if you watched my video before, then you know that this person was a composite of two different people. It was Glenda Cleveland and Pamela Bass. So Glenda Cleveland did not live next door to Jeffrey Dahmer. She actually lived in a completely separate building. Pamela Bass was the one that lived across the hall from Jeffrey Dahmer in the same building. There's not much known about Pamela Bass, so I really don't have much to say about her because I couldn't really find anything on her. So I'm just really going to talk about Glenda. Glenda was one of 9 children. She was raised in a farm in Mississippi by her parents, who emphasized the importance of honesty and stepping up when someone needs help. Glenda said, quote, "I don't see any excuse for people not caring for other people." She worked in a data entry position in the city of Milwaukee. Glenda was the one calling the police over and over and over again about Jeffrey Dahmer. She said that they wouldn't listen to her and nothing would ever happen.
Voice of insistence, the voice of concern, the voice that fell on deaf ears. Tonight, Glenda Cleveland relives the frustration of being shut out by a police operator as she insisted the person being beaten was a child.
When I say what I have to say and I know it to be true, I don't feel that I have to constantly keep repeating myself. And I think that can be said for everyone.
But do you feel they let that boy down that night?
Yes, they did. Yes. Yes, he was definitely let down. He was let down as low as he could get. And that was to his grave. You can't get much lower than that.
After Jeffrey Dahmer got arrested, Glenda did stay in her apartment on 25th Street until 2009. She moved into a new apartment, which was only 2 blocks away, and she stayed there for 2 years. The whole community in the neighborhood looked at her as a hero. They were so proud of her and what she had done. She went on to receive multiple awards from her community. She unfortunately passed away in the year 2010 or 2011, I'm not for sure. I saw both dates in all the articles I was reading, but she did pass away at the age of 56. The Milwaukee police found Glenda's body in her home after neighbors had concerns of not seeing her for a few days. The police did find her unresponsive, and she died in her home from high blood pressure and heart disease. So now I want to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer's brother, Christopher Scarborough. Christopher Scarborough was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was the second of 5 children. He had dropped out of school in the 11th grade and was later kicked out of the house by his mother for his alcoholism and his drug use. He went and joined a youth conservation program and became a trainee carpenter. When he was a trainee carpenter, his supervisor had told him once he graduated from the program, he would have a permanent position. But however, this didn't happen because his supervisor no longer worked there. So when he did graduate, it was a different person and they didn't give him his guaranteed job. Chris had confronted his current supervisor about this, and he said that he owed him money. So the supervisor gave him $15, and then Chris lost his mind about this. So Chris got a gun and then shot his supervisor in the head. And then he went to his manager and demanded more money from him. His manager gave him a $3,000 check and he fled the scene. He got out of there as quick as I don't know what. He was out. Shortly after that, Christopher was found and arrested, and that's when he was put in the same jail as Jeffrey Dahmer. So Christopher did beat Jeffrey to death. He did this because he didn't like the fact that he didn't show any remorse. And also, when he was in the jail, he was pretending to eat body parts. Like, he was making his food look like body parts and he was pretending to eat it and stuff. And Chris thought that that was just ridiculous and he didn't deserve to live. In this process, he also Jesse Anderson. This man did his wife. That's why he was in jail with Jeffrey and with Christopher. They were all. Christopher was given an additional 2 life sentences, and he is still in prison till this day. He is currently 53 years old, and he is at the Continental Correctional Facility in Cannon City, Colorado. So I do want to leave you guys off with the question. Do you guys think that Netflix did a good job on the Jeffrey Dahmer story and they actually showed like what happened? Or do you think that the real story of Jeffrey Dahmer is a lot different and it's a better story? What do you guys think? Let me know. So like I said, I did find all this information on the internet and I just put it all together to make this video. You guys can look this stuff up on your own. Guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I really, really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've gained so many new subscribers and I'm so thankful. Just thank you so much. Thank you for watching and see you later, guys. Bye.